a high-drama, true crime deep dive. She was supposed to protect the people of New Orleans, but what she wanted was money, power, and a way out. This is the story of Antionette Frank, the police officer who robbed a bank and murdered her partner in cold blood. Part 1. The Mask of the Badge. At first glance, Antoinette Frank was everything the New Orleans Police Department said it wanted in a recruit. Young, determined, and willing to serve. But look closer, and cracks appeared almost immediately. Born in 1971 in Louisiana, Antoinette Frank wasn't someone you'd peg for a cop growing up. She was shy, withdrawn, and often described as someone with something behind her eyes, a distance, a detachment. Still, in 1993, she applied to join the NOPD during a period when the department was desperate for officers. Violent crime had gripped the city. New Orleans needed bodies in uniform. Fast, so they overlooked the red flags. Frank's psychological evaluations painted a disturbing picture. She showed signs of emotional instability, failed weapons training, and struggled with decision-making under pressure. Several instructors warned against her certification. They said she wasn't fit to carry a gun, much less enforce the law. But in a flawed system driven by quotas and understaffing, warnings were ignored. She got the badge anyway. And behind that badge hid something sinister. Antoinette Frank was assigned to routine patrols, often working nights. Fellow officers said she was strange, antisocial, secretive, and unpredictable. She didn't seem to like the job. She wasn't proud to wear the uniform. Instead, she seemed frustrated by it. Almost like she believed she deserved more. And soon, she would take more, much more. Part 2. The plan. To make extra money, Frank picked up a side job, working security at Kim Inn, a popular Vietnamese restaurant run by the Vu family. It was quiet, decent money. And for Frank, something else, an opportunity. There, she met Rogers Lacaze, a 17-year-old known gang member who had a reputation for drugs, guns, and violence. He was street tough, young, and fearless. Somehow, this decorated police officer and teenage criminal began a secret relationship. No one knew exactly how it started. Maybe Frank was charmed by Lacaze's confidence. Maybe she saw him as her escape route, a partner who could help her break free from the life she had grown to hate. But what's certain is this: together, they formed a plan, a deadly one. The Kim An restaurant kept large amounts of cash in a back safe. The Vu family trusted Frank. She had keys. She knew the layout. And on March 4th, 1995, she decided to betray that trust in the most brutal way imaginable. That night, Antoinette Frank arrived at the restaurant with Lacaze. Both were armed. Inside, Officer Ronald Williams, Frank's own police partner, was working an off-duty security shift. He was standing guard, doing his job. She looked him in the eye and shot him to death. Part 3. Blood money. But it didn't stop there. With Williams dead on the floor, Frank and Lacaze turned their attention to the Vu family. She forced her way into the back of the restaurant, where 24-year-old Ha Vu and her 17-year-old brother Quang Vu were hiding. She gunned them down, execution style. Frank believed there was over $10,000 in the safe, a small fortune for someone dreaming of escape. But in her bloodlust and chaos, she failed to notice a third Vu sibling who had survived. A young woman who was hiding in the restaurant's attic, shaking, terrified, but alive. As soon as the gunshots stopped, she climbed out and ran, barefoot, bleeding, into the night, flagging down help and calling 911. Police swarmed the scene almost instantly, and when they arrived, they found something chilling. Antoinette Frank was already back at the scene, pretending to help with the investigation. She had returned to play the part of the innocent officer, but her performance fell apart fast. She slipped. She contradicted herself. And then officers found something damning. Her police-issued badge lying in a pool of blood inside the restaurant. Part 4. Badge on trial. The evidence piled up quickly. Ballistics matched Frank's service weapon to the bullets that killed Officer Williams and the Vu siblings. Witnesses placed her at the scene, and the survivor's harrowing testimony painted a picture of pure betrayal. not just by a killer, but by someone who was supposed to protect them. Frank was arrested on the spot. Lacaze wasn't far behind. During the trial, prosecutors described her actions as cold, calculated, and remorseless. She never cried, never apologized, never showed a flicker of humanity. Instead, she blamed Lacaze. Lacaze blamed her. But the jury didn't buy either story. In 1995, Antoinette Frank was sentenced to death, one of the few female officers in American history to receive the ultimate punishment. Lacaze was sentenced to life without parole. The trial sent shockwaves across the country. A police officer, sworn to serve and protect, had murdered her partner, slaughtered innocent people, and tried to walk away with blood money. The city of New Orleans was shaken. The NOPD was humiliated, and the public was left wondering, how did someone like this ever get a badge? Antoinette Frank didn't rob a bank with masks and guns in the dead of night. She robbed it from the inside, with a badge, a gun, and a smile. She traded justice for greed. She betrayed trust for violence. And she murdered a fellow officer to chase a payday. As of today, Antoinette Frank remains on death row in Louisiana, her name etched into the dark history of law enforcement gone wrong. She is a chilling reminder of what happens when the wrong person wears the uniform and justice becomes a weapon, not a shield. No faces, no bias, just the truth. Subscribe for episode 3, because next time, the killer wore a shield.